Alright guys, here's another who would win matchup, and this time around I thought of, and here's what happens after you watch three three Friday the 13th movies back to back to back, and that is Jason Voorhees from, of course, Friday the 13th versus Father Anderson from Hellsing, the anime Hellsing. Now, let's talk about both combatants real quick. But let's talk about Father Anderson. Let's start off with him. Father Anderson is, of course, if you know Hellsing, then you know that he is a Catholic priest, but he's a genetically altered human who is the top assassin and hitman, basically, for the Vatican to hunt down and destroy any supernatural threat. And he serves under the Vatican branch known as Iscariot, which is a monster hunting group that is headed by Enrico Maxwell, and they basically handle anything supernatural, vampires, monsters, anything in that deals with that kind of mess. They call in Anderson, and he wipes them out. Like I said, he's a genetically altered human. Yeah, the Vatican creates, genetically alters people. Who knew? Anderson's ability basically is that he has a healing factor. He has a rapid healing factor. He can, survive being shot in the head, stabbed, having limbs severed. He is an unstoppable force. He is a nearly unstoppable force. The genetics have also altered his DNA so that he is stronger, slightly stronger, and faster than a normal human being. His reflexes are also doubled. He's also, like I said, very agile. He's very intelligent, and he is a devout Catholic. All he really cares about is hunting down anything considered evil to the Catholic faith. If you are against it, you're not going to get away from Anderson. Anderson is, I wouldn't really call him a villain. He's more like an anti-hero, in my opinion. He's not really necessarily evil. He's just doing his job. Alucard and everyone else is just kind of like, you're in my way of doing my job. So that's the thing with Anderson. Anderson is... Wow, it's really coming down again. Sorry if the mic picks it up. It's raining as of this recording. But yeah, Anderson is more or less quintessentially an unstoppable force. Even when he first showed up on the scene in Hellsing, Integra was afraid because she actually was briefly afraid that, oh god, this guy could actually kill Alucard. And Alucard was kind of hoping he would kill him, and he could actually take it to the Lord of all Vampires. Now, Anderson's main weapons are his bayonets that are blessed. He actually used blessed bayonets that can actually wound and weaken any supernatural entity, even vampires. Alucard wasn't really affected because Alucard's goddamn Alucard. What more do I need to say? But yeah, normally those bayonets can harm and wound and weaken supernatural entities, ranging from vampires to anything else. He can also use sacred blessed pages from a Bible to wound and weaken his opponents as well. Let's also not forget that he can take a lot of damage and delve it as well. I'm not going to use in this fight, I'm not really going to use the nail he used. Basically, towards the end of the series, Anderson gave himself a power-up by impaling himself on the nail that Jesus Christ was nailed on, and made him into this plant monster thing. But let's just, for sake of argument, people, we're just going to go with normal, regular Anderson for this one. Anderson, incredibly intelligent, but sometimes he sometimes doesn't think things through. As smart as he sometimes kind of bullhorns into a situation and doesn't really think about the consequences. All he really cares about is just kill, sometimes. Anyway, so let's now move on to his opponent, Jason. What more do I need to say about Jason frickin' Voorhees? He's a goddamn undead tank. His body count ranges from the hundreds if you go by movies, and instated in Jason X, it's stated that he's killed over 200 people total, maybe even more than that. Jason is this unstoppable engine of destruction, unkillable, pretty much unkillable, and he's superhuman strong. He has superhuman strength. Has an incredible healing factor. He's just brute force. He is just brute, unstoppable force. And of course, his main weapon is a machete, but he's pretty good with his hands, and he's pretty good with anything you give him. You put anything in his hands, it's more than likely going to go through you and rip your stomach all open. But the thing is that Jason's not really the smartest guy. He's not really the smartest. He's not really the sharpest tool in the shed. He's quintessentially he's more or less a being of pure instinct, and that instinct is just kill. So Jason, even though it does seem like sometimes he does seem like he's formulating a plan, it's more like, I'm just going to dump all these bodies here and scare my final opponent before I kill them. But yeah, Jason is nearly unstoppable. He is just a force of undead nature who can just more or less fuck your shit backwards and just ruin a bad time at the camp. Yeah. So what would it be like if Jason faced off with Alexander Anderson? How would this fight go down? God damn, would this be bloody. Now, Jason and Alexander both have enhanced healing factors. Jason because he's a supernaturally empowered being, mostly because, yeah, he's technically a Deadite. If you read Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, it reveals that Jason is really a reborn Deadite. He was reborn as a Deadite, and that's why it's kind of the explanation of why he keeps coming back. But yeah, Jason and Alex are both they're both enhanced through different ways, and both have a size and strength advantage. They both are incredibly strong, and I was going with something with this. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. But yeah, here's the big thing that separates Jason from Anderson. Anderson can think. Jason's just, like I said, a being of pure instinct, and he's slow. Alexander has speed as well as intelligence on his side. Let's also not forget that his main weapon is his bayonets. His blessed bayonets that can actually, like I said, they can wound and weaken supernatural enemies. And Jason's pretty much a walking supernatural entity in of himself. So Anderson, could throw a bunch of these into Jason, and it can actually hurt him. It's not like when Jason gets shot or stabbed. Normally, it's just like, oh, you shot me? Oh, you stabbed me? Here, I'm gonna break your neck. That's the thing, is that, these bayonets could actually harm and weaken Jason to the point of actually killing him. Alexander could actually delve a killing blow to Jason. However, Jason isn't just going to stand there and let himself get stabbed. Oh no, Jason is not going down like that in the slightest. There's no way he's just going to let himself get stabbed. Jason, like I said, is a tank, and he can really take a lot of damage. He can definitely take, an absurd amount of pain because he feels no pain. And the thing with Jason is that, every time even he can kill someone with his bare hands. The other thing you have to look at with this fight is that Alexander's healing factor is going to be going on overdrive. It's definitely going to be going on overdrive just to keep him alive. While he does have the speed advantage, but the second Jason gets a hold of Alex, the moment he gets a hold of Alexander Anderson, he's not letting go. You could probably disembowel Anderson with one good strike, and his healing factor is going to be working overdrive for this. You remember, Alexander's healing factor is not as instantaneous as Wolverine's. He needs a little time. He needs a little breathing room. While yes, he can, depending on the injury, as it's said, depending on his injuries, there's a certain amount of time frames for him to heal from certain injuries. And trust me, Jason's going to be delving a lot of serious injuries to this guy. He's definitely going to be delving out some serious pain for Anderson. However, like I said, Anderson's not going to let himself, he's not going to purposely let himself get caught by Jason. And those bayonets are definitely going to play into a major factor into this... where was I going with this? He's definitely going to have he's definitely going to have to plan out how to take down Jason, because he can't really, he can use those bayonets, but he's definitely going to be using a lot of them. Probably more than when he impaled Alucard with. He's going to need to double that number, probably. Because, like I said, Jason can't feel pain, and he could probably still keep going, even though his body's being weakened by the by the bayonets. So that's that's a big thing you have to look at right here, is that this is going to be a very brutal and bloody fight. And even though Anderson has weapons that can hurt Jason, that doesn't necessarily guarantee a win here. That doesn't really necessarily guarantee a major victory right off the bat for either character. So you guys tell me, who do you think would win in this fight? Who do you think would come out on top, Jason or Father Anderson? If you think Jason would win, put hashtag Jason wins and list off the reasons why you think Jason would win. Or if you think Anderson wins, just put hashtag Anderson wins and list off the reasons why you think he would win. But once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say about this matchup. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed it, and I'm out.